try out FydeOS. You should try Try FydeOS. It's like ChromeOS. Try FydeOS. Try FydeOS. Better try FydeOS. FydeOS. If you want the Play Store, try FydeOS. You want FydeOS, try FydeOS. FydeOS is better. You want to install FydeOS. I would install ChromeOS Flex or FydeOS. There's also FydeOS. I'm happy installing FydeOS. Can you try FydeOS too? FydeOS. So yeah, we're going to try FydeOS. I've put FydeOS on this USB drive. So we're booting from this. This required a specific install onto a USB. I couldn't just put FydeOS onto, say, Ventoy for an ISO image. I did have to use Balena Etcher to install this FydeOS image, and I also needed to unpack it before putting it onto the USB drive. It comes in a compressed file which needs uncompressing before putting it on the USB stick. And this is FydeOS 18, because this is what FydeOS version 19 looks like with Intel Celeron N3060, 4000 processors. So this is version 19, and it is a known bug on the FydeOS website. But FydeOS 18 runs perfectly on this Intel Celeron N3060 laptop. This is the HP Stream 11. It's got 2 GB of RAM and a 31 GB eMMC, and I'm going to install this onto this laptop because I want to enable Linux support and see how it gets on. You do get the option of running it from the USB, or you can install it, and I'm going to install it.
The screen reader on ChromeOS, Chromebox, is primarily used by people with blindness or low vision to read text displayed on the screen with a speech synthesizer or braille display. Press the space bar to turn on Chromebox. When Chromebox is activated, you'll go through a quick tour.
Clicking next and waiting for something to happen. I mean, this is ticked. Nothing is happening when I press next, so I might try this, but again, nothing is happening, so I'm going to reboot and try again. Okay, we seem to be getting somewhere. Let's try this again. Full disk installation using the internal MMC drive, and leave it running. The installation is complete. We need to power off the device, remove any installation media, and then power it on again. So let's click shutdown, and let's do that. So I'm removing the USB that I used to install it, and then I'm going to, well, looks like it's still shutting down or booting up. Yep, booting up now from the internal drive. So we'll see how quick it boots into FydeOS, which is based on ChromeOS and should give us, you know, apps, and ChromeOS is based on Linux. So again, we should be able to get a Linux terminal once we enable that into the operating system. So I'm currently waiting for the mouse to appear. There we go. These little things are moving ever so slowly. And over on the left hand side, Oh, I've connected to the Wi-Fi. I did actually switch it off and back on again. It seemed to become really unresponsive, but then this time booting up, it's running perfectly fine. So I'm going to use a local account. I'm not really interested in the cloud FydeOS account, and I'm not interested in using my Google account, but I can use my local account here. There's also a browser's guest. Let's see. Synchronizing your data and preferences across multiple devices will be missing. That's fine. I don't really, mind. Local user, really secure password, obviously. We get to customize this if we want. So let's just make this a little bit bigger. Let's have a look at dark theme and then light theme. And we can have auto as well. And this is our FydeOS desktop. So we can activate the Android subsystem. Let's do that. And the reason we're using FydeOS 18 is because FydeOS 19 doesn't work with Intel Celeron N3060 processors. There's a known bug, and we showed that near the beginning of the video. We can also go for the terminal, and this will mean we need to install the Linux subsystem. I don't know if it's going to let me do these two installs at the same time, but we've got 64% of our storage used already. Internal storage 64 gig. Is it switched on compression or something? Maybe it has. There's nothing else plugged into this laptop. There's no micro SD card, but maybe it switched on compression because this has only got a 31 gigabyte drive in it. Linux development. Linux is not supported on your FydeOS device. Let's see what else we get. Of the internet. Chromium web browser, file settings, terminal, Android. This is WebGL Aquarium, and we're getting up to about 50 frames per second, which is quite quick. Sometimes up to 60 frames per second. And that drops down as we increase the number of fish. You can see on this power meter over here, how much power the laptop is using. That is shown in watts. So it's using 9 watts at the moment. And we should be able to watch videos on YouTube without any kind of problem. Look, it's you. You're in a video.
Assuming it's free to...
Let's make this full screen. Check the settings, 720p. Let's try 1080p. And also bring up these stats if we can.
Quite happy to just try different operating systems on. It's only got 2 gigabytes of RAM though. It's got a dual core processor and it's got a 31 gigabyte eMMC drive as the main boot drive in this laptop. So if this is an install process, we'll need to install it on this laptop before we can use the operating system. Hopefully this will be a graphical user interface installer rather than text-based, which should make things easier for us.
It doesn't really like the idea of showing me beyond a certain point with the thumbnail, but let's try zoom on and they'll get to a different point in the video.
Apart from, that it can run okay with a light
And I think it is struggling a little bit to play the 1080p video, so I'll switch to 720p and it should be fine.
We seem to have a desktop. We'll probably need to connect to the internet. Look, the computer does not satisfy the minimum requirements for installing Linux. Installation can the stats. It's using the VPO9 codec. We're at 480. So let's see what happens if we switch it up to, I don't know, 1080p.
So there we go, there's YouTube running fine. Let's see how many different tabs we can get. Breaking news. BBC Sport. Weather. Sounds. There's a little bit of a slow response. Make Chromium faster. Memory saver frees up memory from inactive tabs. Why not? Let's turn that on. But we've already got 7 tabs open, 8 tabs now. And it seems to be running relatively well. Let's see how the scrolling is. That's quite smooth. Not sure why it's not letting me add the Linux subsystem. Which is a shame. Let's see what it says when we go to that web page. I mean, it's quicker opening that tab. This doesn't really tell us why it's not working. Developers, Linux is not supported. You can reset your FydeOS device. What else do we have? Settings, remote desktop, enable developer mode. Let's see if that helps in any way. Let's restart and come back. I've restarted. We're going to try and see if we can get the Linux option to work for us. Looks like no, we cannot turn on a Linux development environment. It's a shame. Let's have a look at apps. Let's have a look at the Android section, see what we've got. Okay, we've got a web store. Let's have a look at this. We've still got all of our tabs from the previous session. We're going to need to sign into the Chrome web store. So I'm logged into the Chrome web store. Let's see what apps we can actually get. Let's see if there's any kind of system monitor. Willis, what are you doing? Add to Chrome. Okay, so and we've got a system controller as well. That's interesting. So we've got system information. There's the processor, Intel Celeron N3060. Got temperatures, got usage, we've got the memory usage, battery, etc. And storage, which we can open in any window. Or rather, it's not telling us anything about storage, but we can open this in a new window. What's this? FydeOS system controller. That doesn't really tell us anything useful, does it? What else should we try? Okay, there are some instructions on how to install the Google Play Store. I've enabled developer mode. Control-Alt-T to open terminal, except... Oh, I can get a terminal. That's good. Let's see if we can run top. Yep, we've got top. htop. Nope. Neo-fetch, obviously not. Sudo apt. Nope. So we do have a terminal. So we could follow these steps. Look, we can run sudo-i. Nope. Apparently not. Oh wait, let's try shell. Oh yep, we've got the shell, that's great. Sudo-i. Yep, that's worked. So it helps if I follow the instructions and actually read them. Let's try this. Disable root FS verification. And Control V doesn't work. Can I right click and paste? No, obviously not. Gonna have to actually type it in. Okay, I've disabled root FS verification. Would you like to reboot now? So yes, I'm going to do that. I'm at the manual install process, or part of this install. I've gone to OpenGApps and I'm going to try and install this on here so that I have access to Google Apps or the Google App Store. I don't have the FydeOS App Store. Perhaps that is only available if I log on with a Fyde account. I'm guessing that's what I need because this looks like a Fyde account down here. So hopefully once this is installed, we can restart and then have access to the Google Play Store. I've now signed into my FydeOS account and I now have a store. So this should help me generally see what's on the FydeOS store. They love promoting this remote desktop, don't they? Configure OpenGApps. I mean, this makes life much easier just using the FydeOS account. Yeah, I wonder if I can enable the terminal or the Linux support now that I've logged in. Nope, I can't add the Linux development environment. That's a shame. Although, let's check if development settings are on. I'm already in developer mode. Open the app, Android subsystem. So I need to switch on the Android subsystem. Always fun. Activate FydeOS Android subsystem. I think once all of this is kind of up and running and set up, then it should be quite easy. This is all the things you probably need to do the first time you're using an operating system. There's an Android subsystem. Let's try this now. Install. Let's do this. This will install and configure OpenGApps. I definitely recommend having a spare computer, a cheap laptop or a cheap computer that you can mess around with, and it doesn't matter if you need to reinstall the operating system or wipe it because you don't have anything particular on here. It can be a good way to try different operating systems, just have a play around, because, you know, why not try something new just for a bit of fun, have a bit of experimentation, see what else is out there. There's lots of options available in terms of different operating systems. I'm not really sure how long I've been making this video. It feels like several hours now. Maybe 2 hours I've spent on this. This is still a slow laptop. Doesn't really matter what I do with this laptop, it's still quite a slow laptop. It's responsive enough, but when you actually want it to do something that is quite intensive, then it can be slow. Oh, look, it's finished. Let's reboot and let's Let's time this, shall we? So I'm going to click reboot now, and I'm going to start the stopwatch at the same time. We'll see how long it takes to reboot back into the desktop, or rather the logon screen. So the boot up to this point is quite quick. Let's pause it there while I put my password in. Resume this as I press enter. And it doesn't like my password. Okay, and we're in, and it took about 40 seconds to reboot, so that's quite quick. And we should have the access to Google Apps. Maybe I'm going to have to what? I don't want to reinstall it. I just want access to the Google Store. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got the FydeOS store. Oh, and look, here we are, down at the bottom. We've got the Google Play Store. In theory, once it loads. And I need to sign in. Okay, this is now working. I've got the Google Play Store. This is still a slow laptop. Painfully slow at times. Let's have a look. Netflix, Google Photos. Let's just find some app. Or maybe we could put a game on here. See how it performs. Let's try Subway Surfers. I'm beginning to see the benefit of ChromeOS with Play Store enabled and FydeOS enabling this, because once you've got access to all of these different games, it really opens up the things you can do with this, because this could just be a little fun laptop for playing games. It could be for just browsing the web, and you know, who doesn't want to play Crossy Road? Can I install this at the same time? Wonder if we can use system information or something like that. Device info. And we can also give Geekbench a go. Nope, where did it go? Did it just crash? So we're still installing these. They're still downloading and installing. So we'll come back when these are installed. Okay, let's try and play Subway Surfers. Obviously it thinks this is a mobile phone. Nice colour, matching colour. quite old, I guess. That's not my real age, in case you hadn't guessed. Do you want to know? Try to stay as high in the air as possible. I've got music. Okay, tap to play. Oh, it's working. I don't know how to play without, oh, I can use the mouse. I'm not very good at this. It's probably easier with a touchscreen. It's pretty slow. Ooh. So it works. It's not the fastest thing in the world. Ah. Suppose that's something. You can play Android games if you want. I don't know how to actually quit the game, but you can play it. Oh, and it puts them here, so let's try Crossy Road. Why not? Okay. I've started loading Crossy Roads. I'm kind of losing patience here with this. As you can see, it's very slow and not the greatest experience. It does do web pages fine. It does do YouTube okay at the lower resolutions, and it boots relatively quickly, and it's quite a nice operating system to use in terms of, now that we've got access to Google Play Store, we can add more things. But yeah, this is FydeOS. Does the job. Version 18 I had to use rather than 19. 19 doesn't work on this. But yeah, as you can see, it's just slow. We're at the point where a lot of mobile phones are going to be more powerful than this laptop. It's nice that it's used the full screen. Let's just give this a quick go. Can I use the keyboard? Oh, I can. Great. It is a bit too slow though. It's definitely going slow. No. I'm pressing forwards and nothing's happening. It's decided to stop responding. Assuming that's me actually playing. Yeah, that was me. But if we go up to the top here, we can quit the app. And I can quit using this laptop. If you've enjoyed this video, if you found this in any way interesting or useful, feel free to leave a comment. And members get early access to videos. if that's something you're interested in. There's different levels and they don't cost that much, but my plan is to always make sure that people can view videos for free. And thanks for suggesting trying FydeOS. Quite like it. I quite like that it's an alternative to ChromeOS. It's a little bit outside of the Google sphere, but you can still access it if you want. And as a web browser, this works great. So I've enabled virtualization in the BIOS, and hopefully we'll be able to set up virtualization. I need to cover up my Wi-Fi code that appears temporarily, and then turn on this. Yay! It looks like we're going to be able to set up Linux subsystem on this. So there we go. Virtualization needs to be switched on in the BIOS before we can put the Linux subsystem onto FydeOS. Yay! Here's our Linux subsystem, and we can use this to install additional Linux apps, as you can see here. And hopefully that's worked, although there were some errors. No, that has not worked. Let's try again. Okay, NeoFetch hasn't worked and I do need to update it, but HTOP has worked. And here we are. Here's HTOP running on the Linux subsystem. Here's NeoFetch after updating.